I guess I'm live, and I don't need my earpieces because I'm close to the phone. Hey, what's up? This is George Shamoun. As the title states, we're gonna be talking about some simple examples if you are learning JavaScript. I am new with JavaScript, I started recently, and I went through a course and I didn't finish the project. The projects are difficult, I found them, but I nailed down the basics. The basics, example like the data type, the how to assign a variable, how to select, how to manipulate. Very simple examples, and I made some examples and I uploaded them to my website. So if you wanna go check them out to see what I'm talking about. Because I don't have the capability to show you the code on this small device. I'm not at my desktop now. So basically, three examples I want to go over that you can start with if you are learning JavaScript like myself. JavaScript is very important. It's for web page interactivity. You have the first you learn HTML5, CSS3, and the HTML takes care of the structure of the page, where the elements are placed on a web page. And then you have the cascading style sheet, the CSS3. It takes care of the style, like the color, the border, the type of fonts, so many elements that are attached to the HTML elements. So many attributes. That's what I want to say. Attributes, like the color, the shape, the etc. And once you learn HTML5, CSS3, you start with JavaScript. And JavaScript is adds interactivity to the web page, and the way it does it, it manipulates the DOM. The DOM is the document object model, which is, when you look at it, it's a tree-like structure of the HTML element, like at the top of the structure of the tree, you have the document element, then you go down the HTML, you go down the head. So, and this is manipulating the DOM. When they say manipulating the DOM, that's talking about JavaScript. You find one element you want to manipulate, and you apply the codes to it, the HTML code, the JavaScript code. So if you're new starting with JavaScript, start with very basic examples like the three I'm gonna go over. The first one is the mouse move. Example number one: when you move the mouse over an element like a square or a circle on a web page, it does something. It changes color or shape. That's an example. And before you get started, there's a concept about JavaScript you have to understand. First, like I said, you manipulate the DOM, the document object model. You find an element, HTML element, that you want to manipulate using JavaScript. And the first part is to select the element. First, you select it, and then you decide what you want to do with the element, and you create a function. That's the second part, the second step. And once you create a function and you decide what HTML element you want to manipulate, you attach an event to the element, and then you apply the function equal, like you add equal to the function. So basically, three parts you have to understand when it comes to JavaScript. That's the basics. First, you have to select the element you want to manipulate, and then you create a function, and the function you'll decide the function what you want to do with the element using JavaScript. And then you attach an event, and I'll talk about the event in a minute. You attach an event to the element you're trying to manipulate, and then you equate that with the function. So it's that simple in the beginning. It took me a while to figure it out, but once I nailed it, I was so happy that, I can do something in when it comes to JavaScript. So the second example I have is the mouse sleeve. The mouse sleeve and mouse move, those are called events in JavaScript. And the event, it's something done by the user or by the browser. So example, the user, if you move the mouse over the web page, over an element, this is an event. And if you move it over the HTML element, it's a mouse move. It's called mouse move event. And if you leave it, if you move the mouse away from the from the HTML element, it's called the mouse leave. So those are two events. And the click, when you click the mouse, this is an event too in JavaScript. And also the events can be done by the browser. So example, there is an event. I didn't use it yet. I'm trying to figure out how to use it. It's the load on load, and you can use that. And this is done by the browser. So basically, the events in JavaScript can be done by a user, by a human being like you and I, clicking on a mouse, moving the mouse, scrolling, doing something. And it can be done, the event can be done by the browser, except on load. Like when you load the web page, this is loaded by the browser. So this is an event. So this is the event. It's something you do to activate a function on an element. So this is the basics of JavaScript in the beginning, and this is what you want to learn. Now, it's a very extensive subject. It has libraries, it has frameworks, but in the beginning, you cannot start immediately with the frameworks. You do not understand the library and the frameworks. You have to start with the very basics, and this is the one I'm going over now. And if you want to go to my website, georgekcwebservices.com. I can link it in the description later on once I'm done. So it's www.georgekcwebservices.com, and then you go to the tab, to the navigation bar where it says JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and you go under it, under that navigation tab. There are 4 examples. These are the simplest example I made, and they're the first example when I started with JavaScript. It's when you move the mouse, what happens over a box, and then when you click a square, what happens. So there are 4 examples. You can check them because I'm not able to show you the code here on this mobile device. So, guys, if you have any questions, please submit it in a comment, and let me know where you're tuning in from, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. So if you like this kind of content talking about JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and making simple website. So if you have any questions, let me know, because I can answer you right now on this live stream. So again, we're talking about HTML5, CSS, and the subject of this video is JavaScript, how to get started with the JavaScript, and the simplest examples. And I talked about the simplest example. It's when you move the mouse over a square, what it does, it changes the color. When you move it away from the square, it changes color again, and you can have it rotate or scale. The element will become bigger, or rotate. The element will rotate clockwise or clockwise, and you specify the angle you want to do. And then I made an example about the click event. When you click a mouse over an HTML element, something happen when you click it. So basically, these are events in JavaScript, and the way you create some simple examples in the beginning about JavaScript. First, you have to learn how to select the element, the HTML element, and the way you select it, you use a variable, and the way you use it is let or var or let equal, or actually no equal, var or let space. You specify the variable, you give it a name, let's say my box, and then you put equal, and equal, this is when you select the DOM, you add, let's say, document dot, and there is different ways to select the HTML element on a web page. When it comes to JavaScript, you can select it by the ID, by the class, uh, by the name tag. There are about 4 or 5 ways to select the elements. So once you select it, then you create a function that you want the function to happen, or what to do whenever the JavaScript event happens. So once you decide what element you want to use, then you create a function that you want to apply to the element. And then, because JavaScript is event activated, you have to have an event that activate the JavaScript code. So what you do once you create the function, let's say the function, you want the background to be red when you hover over the elements. So this is your function. You create this function, and then, because you created in the first step, you select the element when you assign a variable to it. The second one, you made the function, and the third step is to attach the event in JavaScript to the element, and you add equal to the function in a formula, equal to the function. So example, let's say if you want, when you hover the mouse over a box, you want it to change color. In this case, the event is mouse over, and the color, obviously the function is to change the color, and you attach the element of the, which is, let's say, box one. You attach it to the mouse event, the mouse over event in JavaScript, and you put it in a formula equal, and then you add the function you created in step two. So I'll be making more examples about JavaScript as I learn it. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let me know if you have any questions so I can answer you on a live stream. And let me know where you're tuning in from. Are you in the US? What state are you from? If you're overseas, where are you from? What country are you tuning in from? My name is George Shamoun, and I'm coming to you live from the U.S. state of South Dakota in the Midwest. It's 11:10 Central Standard Time now in the U.S. So if you have any questions, let me know, and make sure you subscribe, because I need your help to grow my channel, and I'll be making more live videos like this one to answer you live, and I'll be making more tutorials. So let me know if you have any questions. So again, if you want to make a web page, HTML, and CSS and JavaScript are very essential, and they're the building block of a web page. So if you want to build a web page, you want to edit one, or you understand, you want to up level your skill in the technology field and coding, this is a way to learn some codes. So because I like to get technical and elevate my skill, but I don't want to get into programming like Java and C sharp and C plus plus and C. Those are difficult programming languages. I don't want to get into those, but I want to advance my knowledge and my skills. So this is why I'm learning how to make a web page, and I'm learning during the process. I'm learning the coding, and the coding are the HTML5, CSS3, and JavaScript. JavaScript, it's the the plain JavaScript, they call it vanilla JavaScript. It means you're not using the libraries or the framework. So let me know if you have any question. Are you learning how to code? Are you interested in learning code? Do you know HTML? Do you know CSS? Do you know JavaScript? If you know JavaScript, make sure you add your comments and let me know if you have any questions or if you can help us. This is a two-way conversation. So we can talk about web page making, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So anyone have a question? Let me know if you have a question so I can answer you now on this live stream, because you can get the answer immediately if you have a question about making a web page, or how to get started. So anyone have a question? Questions, comments? Let me know if you're learning how to code or you're starting to learn how to code. Let me know, and then we can talk about it. This is a two-way conversation. It's not one way. So let me know if you have any questions. So again, my name is George Shamoun, and I'm coming to you live on this Friday evening, 11:14 Central Standard Time, the US. I'm here talking about simple examples, how to use JavaScript, because I'm starting myself and I want to help you. So, and yeah, somebody is adding a comment. Bob, the violin one, welcome. Thank you for joining and thanks for your question. What's your plan when GPT takes your job away? GPT, Chat GPT is not going to take a job. It will enhance what you are doing. You can use it to enhance. I didn't get into it yet, and everybody is talking about it. It's the rage nowadays. But you still need a human being, and you can you can upgrade your skills to learn, Chat GPT and AI, and try it. It will take your job. Well, look, I'm not gonna worry about Chat GPT and AI now, or 10 years from now, but for sure it's not gonna take your job soon, but it might at one point, but I'm not gonna worry about now. It's not gonna happen in the near future. And if it happens, they still need people to work, and anybody else have a question? A positive question, not negative like this one. Anybody else? Questions, comments? Yeah, everybody is talking about GPT and AI without themselves knowing anything about them, but they just hear on the news and what's going on, and they hear about it, so they start talking about it. I mean, you don't even know how to use it, and then you're talking about jobs and they're gonna take your jobs. So who else? Anybody else? Questions, comments? And this is not about AI. This is about JavaScript and HTML, CSS, and making a web page. And even though there are so many ways to make a web page, you don't even have to know coding. But now I'm talking about coding and how to use code for a web page. And if you want to delve deep in codes, AI cannot do it. It's not gonna be able to do. They might make simple codes, but it's not gonna be making complicated codes. Guys, make sure you let me know where you're tuning in from, and share a comment or submit your questions, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. So I'm trying to grow it, and I can help you at the same time answer questions about subjects I'm knowledgeable with, or I have some skills. Who else? Anybody else? Questions, comments? Anyone have a question? Oh, you know what? Maybe we're talking about making a web page using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If you're coming on this live stream, I want to thank you so much for joining. Submit your questions and add your comments or topics about future videos. Make sure you submit a positive and decent question, not a bad comment. Guys, let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm just interested to see my reach. Are you in the US or overseas? Where are you tuning in from? Let me know, and don't be afraid. So yeah, so if you want to make a web page, even if you don't know how to code, you can do it still. So, but I'm learning codes myself, and I want to share with you what I'm learning, and get your insight and opinions, and share comments and information. So if you're learning how to code, let me know. And did you make a website, a web page? How did you do it? Share it in the comments. Again, nowadays, if you want to make a web page, a website, obviously you don't have to know coding. But if you want to make customization, or you want to make a change to the code, you have to learn some of the code, at least the HTML, CSS, and some JavaScript. You don't have to be very advanced, but you have to know the basics. Who else? Questions, comments, ideas? Yeah, you can do a lot with JavaScript, HTML, CSS. You can do a lot even with HTML, CSS without a JavaScript. But once you get advanced, um, you want to learn JavaScript. So it adds functionality to the web page that CSS doesn't have. But you can still do a lot with CSS. You can do a lot. Anybody else? Questions? Comments? Again, we're talking about web page coding, and it's easier than learning to program languages like Java, C Sharp, and other programming languages, C. So this is easier, and anybody can learn it. You don't have to be technical. You just have to spend some time and focus on the code, and it's. But you can do a lot with web development and web design with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You can do a lot. So, who else have a question? Questions, comments, ideas about future topics, future videos? Again, we're talking about making a web page using HTML5, CSS3, and JavaScript, the plain one without any framework, without any libraries. If you're interested in the subject, let me know in a box below, in a comment box, and submit your question or comments, and so we can talk about it. This is a two-way conversation. It's not only one way, you know. So, and let me know where you're tuning in from. Are you from the US? What state are you from? And if you're overseas, what country are you tuning in from? Let me know. Just interested to know what's my reach. Who else? Questions, comments? So again, learning how to code, it's not that complicated, and you can do it to advance your skills and knowledge, and up level your technical skills, because this is a good skill to have, the coding web pages. I've been doing that for the last couple of years, and it takes time to learn it, but you don't have to. But you can be, what's good about codes, you can be productive in no time, quickly. It's much easier than programming, like programming in Java or C, C++, and those languages. Coding, website coding, it's much easier. It's like a higher level programming, where you don't have to go deep in a code, and it's in English, like you can understand what's going on. So, and the JavaScript, I found it difficult in the beginning, but once I went over a couple courses and I start using it, I can make now very simple examples, like the one I talked about before, clicking a mouse, moving the mouse over, mouse move, So, and you have to know how to tackle the problem. First, you decide what you want to do. It's a good way for a small project or small example. The way you start it is decide what you want to do. Basically, start with the result in your mind in the beginning, decide what you want to do, and then sectionalize your problem into 3 or 4 parts. Like the first one, you decide what HTML element you want to use in your JavaScript, and then you assign a variable to it, and this process is called selection. You select on the HTML element, and once you select it, you create a function separately, and this function, you decide with this function what you want the element to do when the code activates, and then you decide on what event you wanna attach an event in JavaScript to the code. And attaching an event, the events can be done by a human being like us, you and I, and it can be done by the browser. Let's say if you move the mouse and you click it, this is a mouse event, click event. It's created by a human, like you and I. But when the browser load, this is loading the browser. This is a browser event. So basically, not every event is done by a human. And then at the end, you attach the third part. You attach the selected element in part one. You attach it to an event, the one we're talking about now, and then you add it in a formula. You put equal, and then you add the function that you want the JavaScript to activate. You know, so basically, it's a three-part, and you have to attach them together. This is the easiest way that I was able to create a code in JavaScript, a simple one. So I don't know if you're learning uh, coding or you already know it. If so, what language do you know? Let me know. And so, questions, comments. Who else have a question? Anyone? Anyone have a question? Again, we're talking about coding a web page using HTML, CSS, and the focus of this video is JavaScript. So if you're interested to know more about JavaScript, let's talk about it. Questions, comments, answers. I'm learning it myself, so anyone else? All right, so if there's no questions, I think I'm gonna wrap it up, and maybe we'll do another live stream later on tonight or tomorrow. But I need to know if you're interested in this topic. If you have questions, comments, chime in. Let me know where you're tuning in from, and if you have any questions, because this live stream is a two-way conversation. It's not one way. So let me know, help me out, because I can't keep talking, and I don't even know if you like the subject of or you're interested in the such a subject. Just drop a comment in a box and let me know if you have any questions. Questions, comments. Are you interested in learning how to code? Are you coding? You have a website? Let me know. Drop a comment in the box if you want. If you have any question about coding, learning how to code. We're talking about JavaScript now, which adds interactivity to a web page. And you have to know HTML, CSS, because without HTML and CSS knowledge, or without the elements HTML, CSS, you won't have anything for JavaScript to work on, because JavaScript manipulates the DOM, the document object model, and which is the HTML elements, but they give it this name because it's in a tree structure. So If you have any questions, submit them in a comment and let me know. If you're interested in coding, learning how to code, making a website. So, excuse me. Questions, comments. Well, all right. So, I guess no questions coming in and no comments. So we can wrap it in for tonight. Maybe I'll make another video later on about HTML, CSS versus instead of JavaScript, So because these work together, HTML5, CSS3, and then you have JavaScript. Those they work together. All right, so I guess I'm gonna wrap it up. Have a good evening or a good day, everyone, and let me know if you have any questions. Drop it in a comment. And I want to thank you so much for attending. I'm gonna wrap it up and close the chat in a couple minutes. If you have any questions before I finish my chat, my live stream, so let me know. I'll wait another minute. If somebody have a question or a comment or. Waiting couple minutes to see if there's any questions coming in so I can answer it before we wrap up this live stream. Questions, comments. All right. Thank you very much for joining, whether you are on this live stream or you can be tuning in the future. Thanks for your time spent here and for your attention. See you in the next video.